Hi everybody, this is the topic 1 video for chapter 5, graphing inequalities by adding or subtracting. So we got to start by learning how to graph an inequality that's already solved. The two biggest things are knowing the difference between when to use an open circle or a closed circle. So if we see a greater than or less than sign, we're going to use an open circle. So it's just a circle, not filled in. For less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to, we have a closed circle. So if we look to graph these inequalities on a number line, we first need to look at what sign does it have. X is greater than 2 is going to need an open circle because of the inequality sign. So we're going to put an open circle at 2, and then we draw an arrow to all values greater than 2. So that would be 3, 4, 5, and so on. So an arrow going to the right. So that means any number along that line, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, anything to the right is a solution. Anything to the left of our open circle is not a solution. Our second one, we've got a greater than or equal to sign, so that means we need a closed circle at 1. And because it's all values greater than or equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on, make that true. Our third example, z is less than 3. We need an open circle because of the inequality sign at positive 3. And this time it's less than 3. So we need an arrow going to the left for all values that are less than 3. So that would be 2, 1, 0, and all the negative numbers. Go ahead and do the U-tries. Solving inequalities by adding or subtracting. So basically you're just going to pretend that inequality is an equal sign. For the first example, how would you get x by itself? Well, you would add 8 to both sides. So then we get x is less than or equal to positive 2. Now that it's fully solved, we can graph it with an open circle at 2 and then an arrow going to the left. One thing I want to talk about, we've got a huge number line. I only really care about that number, maybe one on each side. That's about it, just so you know which direction you should go. And then it's less than or equal to 2, so we've got a closed circle, arrow going to the left. So all values less than or equal to 2. So look at that example on the right. We want to get m by itself, so that means we're going to add 8 to both sides, giving us 2 is greater than m. Now I like to change this so that m is on the left, so we know which way the arrow is going, because it's saying 2 is greater than m. We're used to seeing m first. So I'm going to rewrite this with m on the left, 2 on the right, and think about the alligator. The alligator is eating the 2, it's opened up to the 2, so it still needs to be opened up to the 2. Here's the equation that I'm going to graph. So again, I need a critical point of 2, 1 and a 3 on both sides, so 1 to the left, 1 to the right, and because of the symbol, we need an open circle, and it's less than, so it's going to the left. Our third example, we need to start by subtracting 3 from both sides, giving us x is greater than negative 8. So let's plot negative 8 and one number on each side. So be careful when you do negatives, because negative 9 should be to the left, negative 7 is to the right. Because of the sign, we need an open circle at negative 8, and because it's greater than, we need to go in the greater than direction, which is negative 7, negative 6, negative 5, so to the right. Our last example is going to be like our second one, where we get a by itself, subtracting 8, but then we get a on the right and the number on the left. So let's just rewrite it. We've got a is negative 6, and the alligator should be eating the negative 6, so it has to stay open to the negative 6. And let's go ahead and graph it. For these ones, we're given a verbal sentence that we need to solve and graph. So remember what all these words mean. Sum means we're adding. So the sum of a number and 8 is going to be x plus 8. Then we look at what is on the other side is less than 12. So less than, we just need a less than sign, and 12 on the right. Let's go ahead and solve this. We get x is less than 4, and go ahead and graph. So we need an open circle because of the sign, and all values less than 4 are to the left. Our second example, we have 40 is no greater. So on the left side, we need the number 40. No greater than means we need a less than or equal to. So it can be equal to it, it just can't be bigger. So that's why we need the less than or equal to sign. And then we've got the difference of a number and 2. Difference means subtract. So x minus 2. Again, you can use any variable you want. I'm just going to use x for all of these. And solve. And for this one, I'm going to rearrange it. Alligator's eating the x. Alligator eats the x. And graph. Our third example, a number decreased by 4, so that means we are subtracting 4 from a number, is less than, so that's our less than sign, and 14. Solve by adding 4 to both sides. We get x is less than 18, so that means we need an open circle at 18 going to the left. We do have one more example. I've got to erase what I've got because I ran out of room. The sum of a number and 6 is greater than or equal to negative 4. So again, we see that word sum again. So x in between is greater than or equal to. So we need the greater than sign with the little line under it for the or equal to negative 4. Go ahead and solve and graph. So again, closed circle at negative 10, going to the right because it's all values greater. Go ahead and do the U-tries, and that will wrap up this video.